Welcome to People. I'm Shirley Lin. Well, today my guest is Nick Vasiljevic, who is the Managing Director of Pilotfish, a Dutch-German design and innovation company here in Taiwan. In fact, it started in Taiwan. Well, let's first welcome Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Shirley. Good morning, and thank you for having me here.
No problem. It's good to have you here. And actually, the office is in Neihu, which is not too far from the radio station,
No,
right?
it's just down the road, correct?
Just down
Yes,
the road,
yeah.
right. Now, I'm really surprised that this company started in Taiwan, even though it's a Dutch-German company. Can you explain the background of this company?
Sure, I can tell you a little bit more about it, and I'd like also to go a little bit into the history of Taiwan.
Really?
Yeah, just a little bit, because if you look at Taiwan, Taiwan has a very strong background in OEM and ODM, so manufacturing for big brand companies. And sometime in the late 90s or mid-90s, Taiwan started to move into OBM, original branding manufacturing. What do brands need? Brands need design. They need to look nice. They need to present themselves nice. They need to be to a world, which is interested in nice-looking products. And that's where we come in. Now, over 10 years ago, we also had the founders of the company here in Taiwan who saw this as a great opportunity because Taiwan had great manufacturing, great electronics and everything. But in design at that time, Taiwan was still in a very early stage.
So how old is this company? It started in...
Oh, it started in 2000.
2000.
So just around the time when you see, when you see this OPM kind of coming up more and more. So original branding manufacturing was something that started in the 90s, late 90s. And, now, of course, it's a lot more strong with some very strong brand companies like HTC, like ASUS, and so on. But in the early to mid-90s, it was still primarily OEM, ODM culture here in Taiwan.
Oh, I see. Why Pilotfish? How did this name come about?
Well, the name actually, there's this, basically it has to do with, it's a funny name in some ways.
Is it really a fish?
It is the real fish that actually smells the food and it swims with the shark. So the little pilotfish smells the food and tells the shark, go over there. And so the pilotfish swims with the shark eats the food, and the little pilotfish eats then a little part of the food. Now, what does that mean in the real world, in the world that we're in? That means we're a small but very smart company that works with big, powerful companies, and we make them, not to get to the food, but make them go to the money, and then we get a small part of their money, and they get the big chunk of the money. So everybody's happy in the end, and that's why the name Pilotfish.
It's a great name. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I always see videos of these whales and big fish with little fish on the side, but you never know what the names are. So those are pilotfish, right? Oh, that is so interesting. Okay. So in Taiwan, what is the market like here in terms of design and everything? I know you brought some stuff. Maybe you want to explain better by showing the things that you do?
Yeah, see, design is a very broad field. I mean, a lot of things are design, and design is also sometimes a little bit maybe overused. But to show you a little bit what we are doing, I brought a couple of products that I would like to introduce and also show to you the thinking that we actually have when we work with our clients.
That's good.
So to give you an example of, starting with this product, this actually used to be a software company.
You want to just hold it there for a second so that everybody can see? Yeah. And go on. You can just keep talking.
So I can, are we not off camera or are we still?
No, that's okay. Just go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
This used to be a software company. But they had a challenge. The challenge was that the users who use their software are not digital people.
Right.
Now you have to understand, a digital person loves to use a mouse and a keyboard.
Right.
But the people who use this type of device, and this is for mixing music, they are not digital people. They don't love a mouse, they don't love the keyboard. And the challenge was really that the clientele of this company just didn't like to use the software. But they loved the software because it was great, just they didn't like to, to interact with it.
Right.
So this company contacted us and said, look, we have this big challenge. How do we overcome that challenge? And we studied this and we looked into this and we realized that the users, the consumer of this of the product of their company, that these people are not digital, but they're analog people. And analog people interact in a different way with devices than digital people. So what we did is we actually put into this device a motherboard, a PCB, We gave it a very haptic, a very interface with with knobs and buttons, and we designed many products for this company. Some bigger ones, some smaller ones. This is something that I could bring with me, so fairly handy. And this has a very analog interface. Now this connects to the computer, to the software, but now you don't have to use a keyboard and a mouse. Now you can just use your basically this device to interact with the software, and you have a much better result. So this company became a market leader in that particular niche market just because they're thinking for users and thinking about users.
So then I assume that it'll be like older people who use this than young people. Is that right?
No, this is actually for people who love mixing music and people who love to work in that environment. Now, this type of people, not everybody is digital nowadays.
Yeah.
This type of people, they are mainly analog people, and they love this type of interface to interact with the software of that company. So this company now is a hardware maker too.
I see. Because to them, they think that it's more easier to manipulate instead of using the mouse and the keyboard, right?
See, it is. Let me give you maybe an example in a different field. If you look at, you see this also with devices from many manufacturers. The volume button usually stays as a physical button.
Yeah,
because
button,
users, you, me, almost everybody is very used to actually interacting with the volume button in a physical way. Now, it's no problem to do that digitally. But who likes to really do this? I mean, there are some products that you have to digitally interact with in order to change the volume up and down. But users, or generally consumers, don't like to do that. So this is really about like the user-centric thinking, thinking about users and making users' life easier.
Right. Wow. That means you design a lot of stuff because you custom make every single thing to meet the user's needs, right? So just like, for example, this other thing, it's a hearing aid. You want to
Yes, I can show you. There's a couple of that we have in here.
In fact, we want to let our audience know that these are all award-winning designs.
Yes, all the ones are brought here. They're award-winning designs,
That's right.
but also they're successful on the market, which is another topic. But they're also successful on the market.
Now this thing here is a hearing aid.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you look at traditional hearing aids, and I didn't bring one with me, but traditional hearing aids are usually very gray, old, ugly devices. They don't have any type of they don't really feel attractive to the users. So what it does, there's nothing wrong with people who have to use hearing aids. But the moment you put a hearing aid into your ear, you start being considered, maybe, like a disabled person, like a person who, there's something wrong with you.
You get conscious.
You get conscious. Now, we said, why does it have to be like this? Because nowadays, even young people don't hear well, thanks to discos and MP3 players and all this.
You said thanks to discos.
Well, I mean, due to these.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Unfortunate, also young people sometimes don't hear well. But also, there is a different type of understanding of age. 50 years old is not old anymore. 70 even, is not that considered to be that old anymore, because people want to feel young, they want to feel hip, they want to be part of society. Now, if you have to put an old hearing aid, this type of old designs into your ears, it's not going to make you feel good.
I know.
So we said, why does it have to be like this?